I have a question, and it's a very specific question, and if this doesn't apply to you, then please scroll past.
Hello, good people. Vicadi here. How are you doing? Okay, so in today's video, we're going to see a woman who is seeking the opinion of older women in their 40s, 50s, 60s about how their life has been since they made the choice of being child free, because a family actually projects to her that if she doesn't have children, she's not going to live her best life, her life will be miserable and all of that. So let us see that video, then we'll come back to talk about it. It is actually an interesting one, so watch till the end.
I have a question, and it's a very specific question, and if this doesn't apply to you, then please scroll past. But if you are 40s and up, so 40s, 50s, 60s, even more than that, if you are 40s and up and a woman, or even a woman with a partner who has gone their entire life childless, please tell me what your life is like now, because I've been told multiple times by family members, family friends, sometimes friends, but pretty rarely, that once I get older and I can't have kids anymore, or I choose not to have kids, once I get older, I'm going to see my friends have kids, and I'll either be jealous that I'm not having kids that are interacting with them, or that I'll lose out on something, or that, I'll be older and I'll be sad because I don't have, children around me and grandchildren. I need to know from someone who I envision myself being later on in life. I need to know specifically from someone who is, either in their 40s or beyond, either around that age or retiring or whatever, that you are either happy with your life, or give me the cold hard truth. Let me know how you feel. I want to know, do you feel like you lost out? Do you feel like you're confident and happy with your choice? I want to know the actual truth on this, because I'm tired of having that same thing told to me, and I need to know from somebody else what their thoughts are on that, and if I'm going to be missing out on something. And because I just, at this point in my life, I don't want kids, and it could change. Tell me if you think you made the right decision.
I'm 44. I love kids, and I'm childless by choice. There's this fairy tale that's pushed upon us that we should live life with zero regrets, but the thing is that that's just not how life works. So we can either choose what regrets that we're going to have because they're inevitable, or life chooses them for us. I prefer to choose my own regrets. I absolutely love kids, and I think I'd be happy with kids. But I also understand that I'm happier without kids. The life that I choose, that I feel I would be happiest in, is incompatible with having children, with being a mother. On my deathbed, I know that I'm going to regret not having children, but I also know that if I did have kids, that on my deathbed, I would have even bigger regrets about the life that I was supposed to lead that didn't include them. So you have to choose your regret, and you have to make peace with the fact that there are going to be regrets.
I have a question, and it's a very specific question, and if this...
I've got you. So that creator asks the question, if you're 40s and up and you haven't had your own kids, tell me, do you regret it or do you not? Because everyone's telling me that I'm going to regret it. So I'm 43, no kids of my own. I had a step parenting experience, which I loved, but the kids lived in a different city most of that relationship. So it was a very part-time step parenting experience. So I think I still qualify to answer this question. They also told me when I was younger, one day that biological clock will just wake you up, that maternal instinct will kick in and you'll get baby fever and you'll want it so bad. It never happened to me. And I love kids. I love other people's kids. I love my nieces and my nephews and my friends' kids. And when people see me with them, they're like, oh, wow, you're really good with kids. And everybody seems surprised by this because I've chosen not to have my own. But I didn't choose not to have my own because I don't like kids. I chose not to have my own because I like my life. And let's be real, when you have kids, every element of your life, everything that you value about the life that you've built is possibly on the chopping block. Your physical health, your mental health, your hobbies, your free time, your friendships, all of those are probably going to take a hit. And often a lot of them will take significant hits and might be eliminated from your life altogether. Parenthood is so unpredictable. And the only thing predictable about it is that it's going to change nearly every single aspect of your life. And I don't want that. I love my life. Here's what my day looks like. I wake up when my body wants to wake up without an alarm. I have a cup of tea while I read a book for about an hour. I meditate. I go on a 30-minute walk. I do about 30 minutes of yoga, hop in the shower, start my work day. Usually have a very mindful, centered work day. And after work, I either like go play tennis with friends or people at my club, or I will, watch a movie, or if I have a lot of creative energy, I'll cook like a gourmet meal. And I wind down with a book and I go to sleep in silence and in peace. And it's such a fulfilling and connected existence. I have 5 friends that I talk to every week, 3 of whom I talk to every day. Like, we're talking all throughout the day, and I just don't think that would happen if I had kids running around. If I get a little boredom, I'd literally just hop on a plane and go somewhere fun. I once went to Europe for 10 days with almost no planning with a friend of mine because we're both single and child-free. I almost always have a creative project going, whether it's short stories or a novel or even just TikToks. I'm connected. I'm self-expressed. I find meaning in my life. I've worked on political campaigns, multiple political campaigns. There's so much richness to this existence. And that's not to say that having kids wouldn't be rich, but it would take the dozen places that I get meaning from and kind of force me to get meaning from like the one thing that replaces them. I have never regretted it for a second.
Someone just told me to hurry up and have kids before it's too late. Too late for what? I'm 45 years old. I don't understand why people are still bothering me about having kids. I mean, menopause is right around the corner. Like, why do I have to have a kid now? I made the decision to go child-free in my mid to late 20s. It served me really well. I'm going to be honest. I wanted to be selfish. I wanted to do whatever I wanted all of the time. Don't get me wrong. I love kids. I love their energy. After the age of 5, toddlers seem like a lot of work. They're always screaming and they're always crying and puking, and I just couldn't. And how do you guys afford kids? I mean, really? Kids these days, an 8-year-old wants a PS5. I went to the mall and some little kid had a better designer bag than me. I see a lot of moms struggling too, and frankly, I don't know what's worse. Struggling with trying to bring up upstanding citizens, them struggling with the constant exhaustion, them struggling with the expense. It's not for me. It absolutely is not for me. I never really wanted to be a mom. I don't think I have a biological clock. If you make the decision to be child-free, stick to it. Don't let anybody sway you, because they will try until you are lying in your coffin to make you have kids.
Hi, it's me. Okay, I know you're only asking for women to respond to this, but I have a very strange story for you. When I was 25, I had a very rare cancer, blah, blah, blah. On the list of things no one told me or I didn't know to expect, I was going to become sterile, meaning I couldn't have children, and this was due to the high level of chemo that I was going to be receiving over the next few months. Now, keep in mind, at this point, I've already had 2 or 3 rounds of chemo, and they just informed me that the next one was going to be the one that was going to render me sterile and unable to have children of my own. They let me know this about maybe a half an hour, 20 minutes to a half an hour before I was going to go into this appointment that was going to make this happen. And so I had to make a decision right there. So picture this, me in a hospital room with my female doctor and my mother talking about jerking off into a cup to maybe have children one day, maybe someday, perhaps maybe. Keeping in mind that this costs $1,200 a year for them to freeze and maintain the specimen, not to mention it's only good for about 5 years. So I'm 36 right now. At the time that the 5-year mark would have ran out, I was 30. So that means that right now I could possibly have a kindergarten-age child, which is horrifying. I know my parents had 3 children by the time they were my age, and all of us were talking and in school, but blah, just no. Now, having kids was never something that I really, really wanted to do. It was kind of one of those things. It was no, if it happens, maybe I'd be open to the conversation. But it was never oh God, I need to be a dad. A daddy, maybe. So whether it was by choice or by happenstance, like, I'm child free and I will remain so. And I'm totally okay with that, because let me tell you something. This year, I published my book. I went to Europe for the first time for 3 weeks without a plan, just got up and left. And generally speaking, with some bumps in the road, this year has been absolutely fantastic, and none of it, not a single shred of it, would have been able to happen if I would have had kids.
I'm 39 and happily child-free, but every so often I'll wonder, is it true? Like, do you have to have kids to, like, have a life that's worth living? Just, you gotta have so many kids. Like, is it true? And then I found the subreddit, Regretful Parents, and I have learned it is not true. And if you're on the fence about having kids, or if you've decided not to have kids, but occasionally you're like, is this the right decision? Go to that subreddit, because you will learn there are a shit ton of parents who regret their children.
I've never once in my life regretted not having kids. And just to go through some of the stuff that you stated, will you be jealous of your friends who have kids? You're not jealous of something you don't want. You will be jealous when you don't have kids of your own interacting with their kids. I mean, it's not a dog park. When you're older, you'll be sad that you didn't do it. So I'm 44, never been sad that I haven't had kids. If it takes a village to raise a child, I am happy being the village. I have plenty of friends who are mothers. When they haven't showered in 3 days because they have a newborn, I am happy to go over and sit with that child so they can take a shower, take a nap. And they've had a really frustrating, hard, rough day and finally get those kids down 2 hours past their bedtime. I am happy to show up late at night with a bottle of wine and let them just rage or cry. If the kids are having a birthday party and they need help with the food, they know that Aunt Jess will come in clutch with some Cookie Monster cupcakes or some Komodo dragon salad. I am there for birthdays, holidays, family trips to the farm animal sanctuary. I love my time with my little nieces and nephews. And despite that, never once have I thought, maybe I should give this a try. Now, there are plenty of people who didn't want kids and became parents and loved it. But if I know I don't want kids, why am I going to gamble on the well-being of a child and bring it into this world on the possibility that I might enjoy it when I already have an inclination that I won't? Show your family and friends that subreddit and ask them, what happens if, despite not wanting to be a parent, I become one anyways, and it turns out I absolutely hate it? Ask them if they love kids so much why they're willing to risk the well-being and mental health of a child over the gamble that you might like it. Ask them how many times they've seen a parent and said that person should have never become a parent. Ask them where the disconnect is, that when people recognize beforehand they should never become a parent, why we don't listen to them and believe them. Ask them why they feel that your decision to not have kids somehow challenges their decision to have kids. And finally, if all else fails, push them to start having more kids. The older they are, the even better. Oh, well, I'm old. I've already had my kids. I can't possibly take care of a kid. Good, so you know how it feels. And if you're worried that doing that will make you seem impolite or disrespectful, just a reminder, they have no problem being that way to you. And also rest assured that as you get older, the confidence in saying, mind your business, Aunt Barbara, grows exponentially.
Childless. Please tell me what your life.
I got you, boo. So I will be 47 years old this year. I decided I didn't want to have kids or get married when I was 15. I pretty much never strayed from that thought. I think in my 20s, I briefly considered it, and then I said, nah. I do not regret and have never regretted this decision. I don't dislike all children. I just don't want children myself. I know children that I love, children of friends, children of partners, children of family members, but I never wanted to be a mom, and so it's a good thing that I'm not. I pretty much love everything about my life. I get to spend my time how I want. I take myself on fun trips and go on fun trips with other people. I live in a great apartment that I love, in a neighborhood that I love, in the city that I live in. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I really don't think that people should be parents unless they are excited about being parents. It doesn't mean that, like, it's always going to be perfect and nothing but goodness and joy. Of course, I understand that parenting is hard, but if you're not excited about it, if you're not like, wow, I really want to be a parent, then don't fucking be a parent. especially not just because other people are pressuring you to do it or telling you that you'll regret it later, because that to me sounds like somebody who actually regrets their own choices and just wants you to do the same thing so you can be miserable like them. No offense, but that's exactly what I think when people are hardcore pressuring you to have kids. It's like, yeah, I get it, Janice. You wish you didn't have kids, so you want me to be miserable like you. I mean, why else is someone so concerned with what you're doing with your life? If you don't want kids, don't have kids. You'll be fine. If you change your mind and do want kids, do that too. Who cares? But do what you want to do, not what other people are telling you. You'll be fine. I promise I will never regret this decision.
Life childless. Please tell me.
Okay, she wants to hear from women over 40 who are childless on purpose, and she wants to know what their lives are like now because her family and friends are telling her that she's going to regret not having kids. I've got one word for you. Nope. Let's see. In the last couple of years, I've been to Asia, Europe, Peru. I'm going to Ibiza this year. I get to follow my passions. And listen, there's nothing wrong with having kids if you want them. But if you don't want them, don't feel the pressure to have them. And also, I never heard anyone say to a man, if you choose not to have kids, you're going to regret it. You do you.
Specific question, and if this doesn't apply to you, then please.
She wants the honest truth from older women who chose not to have children, whether or not we really regret that decision. No, I've never regretted it, not for a second. I just turned 57, and I am so grateful that I knew myself well enough to know that I did not want children, that it was not the right choice for me. And no, I am not missing out. I am not jealous. I'm not missing out on having young people to nurture and care for and love in my life. My life and my mental health and my emotional health and my financial well-being are all so much better because I did not have children. That's just reality. It's truth. It's honesty. Sorry. I've been in ministry for 25 years, and I can tell you that people who think that children are automatically there for their parents at the end of life, no, they're not. That's a fantasy. You don't have kids for that reason.
Please tell me what your life.
The question was, do you regret not having kids? No, I don't. If I had a child right now, bro, I honestly would be hating my fucking life because I wouldn't have a life. You have to sacrifice everything for that child, right down to how much you sleep. I don't think so. But Whitney, that's selfish. That's selfish. Yeah. My bio literally says I want women to be selfish. Why would I not tell y'all that? Y'all see how these men are freaking out, right? Because we don't want to get married and have kids. You see how they're freaking out? There's a reason for that. Open your eyes.
Or even a woman with a partner who has gone their entire life childless.
You have summoned me. A child-free woman in her 50s has entered the chat. You have some great questions, and I think it's normal to ask these questions, especially when everybody around you is trying to give you a case of the what ifs. What if I get older and regret it? What if I want grandchildren? What if I feel left out when all my friends are having children? The what ifs are real, and I got them from a lot of angles in the 1990s. People would ask me all the time, what if you're alone when you get older? What if you want to have a child later in life? What if being child-free by choice is not everything you thought it would be? And honestly, I understood their concern. Many of them were parents who were very happy with parenting, and they just couldn't wrap their heads around how I could have made this decision. So whenever you get a what if, think about the person's possible motivations behind that. They might be projecting. They're a happy parent, so they want you to be a happy parent. They feel completely fulfilled by parenthood, and they want you to feel the same. But that doesn't mean that you do. The only person who can make this decision is you. And I can only speak about my decision and how it's affected my life. And I can tell you that I've never regretted this choice. I'm a year and a half away from retirement. I'm going to start a whole new career. I have no debt. I have a wonderful relationship. I'm very close with my family. I have a huge group of friends. And no, I never feel lonely. But let's face it, there are a lot of times when I want to be alone. And I can be. And are any of those reasons not to have a child if you want a child? Absolutely not. But are they the benefits for me? Absolutely. And listen, there are some times when your friends are having kids that you feel left out. You're going to baby showers all the time, birthday parties, you don't have a child to bring with you. That's okay. And then when their kids get older and are involved in so many activities and you don't get to see them as much, that's okay. Eventually, their kids become adults and they circle back. Also, during the teen years, you're probably going to be called on a lot to go on vacation with the parents, take them out for a drink, or maybe even get the kid out of their hair for a little bit. And the answer to the what ifs are no real reason to bring a child into the world if you don't feel as if you have to be a mother.
Okay, so I have to be real with you. I'm child-free, and I think all of us child-free people tend to talk about all the perks of being a child-free person. And a lot of people tend to focus on things like, oh, having a lot of extra money is definitely true, but also like traveling everywhere. And I just gotta be really honest, I definitely do travel, but I'm not like jet setting all the time and like going to Europe and all these amazing trips. Definitely want to, but a lot of times my Saturday just kind of looks like this. I'm kind of doing a reset for the weekend. I have a gin and tonic or two, or a French 75, whatever. Anyways, I just chill at my house. A big part of being child-free for us was trying to get a house and saving up and just having the lifestyle that we want, which is really in general just being comfortable. And for me, that's really all it comes down to. I just want to be as comfortable as possible. Yes, I like kids, but I don't want to wake up early. I want to go to bed late if I want to. I want to sleep in. I want to watch the shows I want to watch. I want to have my house clean if I want it, or messy if I feel lazy. And no one's bothering me. And I'm just here with my cats and I'm chilling and I'm wearing my champagne pajamas and a fuzzy robe I just bought. Like, it's really less about like going and having an extravagant life. Some people have that and I love that for you, but I just want a simple life, an uncomplicated life. And this was really that decision for me that was like, you know, I can't control everything, but there's a few things I can control, and if I control not having kids, my life is just that much more simple and stress-free. And that's what I wanted to share today. Happy Friday. It's pretty late, so whoever sees this, you're a night owl as well. I hope you're having a great night. Tell me what you're doing this weekend. Cheers.
Childless. Please tell me what your life is.
Gen X here. I just turned 47 years old last week. I have a partner of 13 and a half years, and we do not have children. You asked me and your followers what it is like for people our age not to have children. So I'm going to respond brutally and honestly. But keep in mind, this is my own personal experience, my own personal journey. And so my experience may not end up being your experience. And I'm not saying that my experience should be everybody else's experience. I am overjoyed and believe that I made 100% the best decision for my life not to have children. Opposite of what your parents are saying, I felt that I would regret and that I would be resentful if I had children. And I think that that would have been a horrible environment for a child to be in and a waste of my life. And a lot of people may say that me choosing to put myself first is selfish. Will be the first people to be like, freedom. Well, I exercised my freedom to live my life the way that I wanted, and I couldn't be happier for it. So what is my life filled with if not for children? I have a full-time research job that I am really satisfied with, and that helps people all across the globe. I'm currently authoring my first book, forthcoming by HarperCollins Designs. That keeps me really busy at night when I have a full-time job. And even at 47 years old, I still muster up the energy to be a world traveler. That is like my greatest passion, is traveling the world. In December, instead of deciding to stand in line for Christmas gifts or, worrying over what I was going to do for New Year's, I packed up with my partner and we went island hopping. And I'm not talking about cruises. Do I look like a cruise girl? I'm not a cruise ship kind of girl. We went sexy grown island hopping through Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bart's, Guadeloupe. We hiked an active volcano. We snorkeled and saw sea turtles. I was invited to cover Stockholm as a destination as a writer, and it was like fully paid for, and Stockholm ended up being one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to. And I'm currently planning trips to Argentina, Croatia, Bosnia, Greece, and Italy. My only kind of regret and guilt is the opposite. My friends that have kids actually want me to vacation more and sit in a suburb with them, and I feel kind of guilty sometimes that I don't. That guilt dissipates pretty fast when you're eating a big bowl of pasta in Rome.
Or even a woman with a partner who has gone their entire life childless.
So I saw your video and I thought I could give you some insight. I am 49 years old and I am childless on purpose. I have been in the relationship with my partner for 18 years. I am also physically capable of having children. Unfortunately, I have heard all of the things that have been said to you. I always get this sad look when they find out that I don't have any children, like, oh, I'm so sorry. What's wrong with you? Or, you know, they think my life is empty. My life isn't empty. I love my life. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. My life is fulfilling in a different way than a person that has children. I am completely free to do whatever I want without having to consider the wants and needs of a tiny human being. It is my personal opinion that whenever people say things like, oh, your life is so empty and you're going to regret not having children and all this, it almost feels like you are projecting your fears onto me. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with children. I know lots of people with children. Children are just not something I've ever wanted. And it's okay not to want children. You should never do something as huge as have children because your family is pressuring you to, or a partner is pressuring you to, or society is pressuring you to. It's your life. You have to live it the way that you choose to live it. And I think that if you live your life the way you want to live it, you're going to be happy with any outcome. Children are wonderful, but they're not for everybody. And your family, your friends, and society shouldn't pressure you into doing something that you really don't want to do. Because having a child because you've been pressured into doing it is the absolute worst thing in the world that you can do for that child.
Welcome back, people. If you actually stayed to this point, it shows that you enjoyed the video and you love to see more of this. So don't forget, like, subscribe, and of course drop your thoughts in the comments section. I would love to hear from you, but please do not insult, and please be friendly. Use the right word. Now let me share my own take on this topic. You know, in Africa where I am from, it is difficult to say you want to live a child-free life, because even your own household will gaslight you. They will make you feel like there's nothing you want to use your life for. They make you look as if you just want to be wayward, you want to just be, you are irresponsible. That is how they're going to make you feel. And sometimes friends can also rub it in your face when you're hanging out with them, you know, trying to make you feel like your life is miserable without. So to me, being child-free or having kids is a personal decision. It shouldn't be shoved through one's truth. If you want it, fine. If you don't want it, please do not let your life stop. Do not feel regret about it. Do not feel like you're missing out on life. Instead, use all of your energy to have your best life. We hear what people say, they have kids, they wouldn't have gone for the vacations, they wouldn't have reached certain milestones in their life. Yes, I agree with that. So do not let anybody make you feel bad. And if you have made that decision to live a child-free life, I give you that respect because you are courageous. Not many do have the courage to make such decisions. Thank you for, telling us how your life has done. And I'm actually happy that women in their older years, because the pressure is usually for women in their 20s and 30s. I'm glad that women who have passed the pressure stage are the ones giving this advice. No, it is not boring. If you want to do it, do go for it. Thank you for joining me here. I'll see you in my next video.